one last ride for the NORC iRacing series. Through 13 action-packed seasons of racing, the series says its final farewells with their month of Norctona Speed Weeks. Tonight, the usual class of characters take the 1987 stock cars round the legacy Daytona International Speedway for the NORC Classic, and it all starts now on Pit Stop TV. Welcome to the virtual Daytona Beach, Florida. Caleb Gladney alongside myself on the mic this evening. I'm Emerson Arden, and we welcome you all to this evening's Pit Stop TV coverage of the NORC Classic. Tonight features pack racing with 650 horsepower, 3,700-pound beasts battling through the bumps and the dips of the Daytona International Speedway prior to its 2010 off-season repave. Drivers hanging on for dear life while being inches away from their competitors 60 times around the virtual Daytona International Speedway. And Caleb, I cannot wait for what tonight has in store for us.
Well, it's looking to be a very great night right here on Pit Stop TV, Emerson. And just this track brings all the feelings right here. You look at this 2.5 mile racetrack, the world center of racing, Daytona International Speedway, and we get 1987 race cars with a very bumpy and old school style form of Daytona, and I'm looking forward to it this evening.
Absolutely. We're all looking forward for the NORC Speed Weeks kicking off tonight. And again, these 87s, it's something that's not really sought after on the iRacing platform as much as, I think people would like it. It's a little bit nostalgic, and to run the old Daytona just adds to that. And while we're talking about Daytona, let's just go ahead and let's look at what this speedway has to offer. Of course, traditional tri-oval shape, 31 degrees of banking in 1 and 2 and in 3 and 4. The treacherous and tricky and dangerous tri-oval sits at 18 degrees of banking. That pit lane, you come off of turn 4, you got to start braking right off of the banking, and hopefully you make it down the pit road speed in these big old heavy things. That pit exit lane, I believe on this current version of this version of iRacing's Daytona International Speedway, you'll be allowed to merge entering turn 1. But maybe the cone is there off of turn 2 as well. We've been seeing a kind of a mix here in practice, and I think flags have been cleared, so I guess it's going to be more off of turn 2 tonight. But if you look at those times on the left-hand side, the fastest laps for the NASCAR Cup qualifying record in the NASCAR now Xfinity Series, then, what was it, Busch Series qualifying record? Was it the Busch Series back in 87? Those times there on the left-hand side, those are from 1987 themselves.
Yeah, that's one thing that stuck out to me right there, Emerson, as you can see Bill Elliott's time in a 1987 Ford, something that we will be racing here tonight. He put down a 42.783, 210 miles per hour. Speeds faster than what we even see today in the Cup Series. And obviously the Bill Elliott's Ford Thunderbird was the man to beat back then. So another thing you're going to have to look out for tonight is those speeds right here on this layout of Daytona International Speedway.
Again, the Daytona International Speedway, it's such an amazing facility. Even even back here you have the grandstands on the back straightaway. It's called the World Center of Racing. You see coming into frame the bus stop chicane used on the road course layout of this amazing track with the 24 hours of Daytona, and I call it the Rolex 24. This track just has so much from when it opened back in 1950, or when it broke ground in 57 and had its first races in 1959. This track is just so history rich, and it's an amazing venue. I think the perfect venue for the NORC iRacing series to kind of have their last hoorah, as we've been commonly calling it amongst everyone here. And here we are getting ready to get to action tonight. 7 minutes left here in practice for these drivers. Let's just take a moment and let's see how these drivers are out there. I mean, we've seen a lot of pack racing tonight. Look at them just right there battling the bumps just there through 1 and 2, and now down the back straightaway. Everybody's just struggling to hold a straight line, and that is just that's prime 1987 stock cars here on the iRacing platform.
Yeah, you can see when they go in the corner just how much they're moving up and down. You can see the old surface and the dark grooves on it, and these cars sliding. You see the 46 Cherry Coke car slide all the way up the racetrack right there. So as these tires wear off, it's going to get harder and harder to handle.
6 minutes left to practice here, and you're going to be commonly seeing, well, there they go. They're already getting sideways. I think we're getting ready to have ourselves a little bit of a big one, and the iRacing damage model as well adds to it. The tires flying off these cars. We're going to have a fun time tonight. Jared Darling's Welch's Ford Thunderbird comes to a stop there in the back straightaway. Let's see who else is out there. Let's see if we can maybe ride on board with somebody, some NORC history here. How about Freddie De La Rosa? Let's ride on board and see just a lap around this track.
Emerson, you can see right there as he gets into the corner about 208 miles per hour. So top speed coming out of the travel front stretch, 208 miles per hour. We'll have to look down the back stretch what kind of speeds he's putting down.
You see, he glided over to that wall. It's really hard to keep these things straight. He'll also keep it at 208 miles an hour. And this is by himself, by the way. Let's now add in the fact that he's probably going to be in a pack of, what are we looking at? Somewhere in the range, maybe the mid-20s in terms of car count tonight. And I mean, these things are going to be flying. He's catching up to a pack right now. But that's a lap around Daytona. And that's by himself. I want us also kind of, and we will obviously throughout the race, kind of get some onboards in the pack as well. But you'll see just how difficult it will be for these drivers to be fighting the car, also while trying not to hit one another. Oh, there they go on the back straightaway again. And we'll see this tonight. I think they're just having fun here in practice more than anything.
I definitely think things will clean themselves up. You know, practice, you're trying to get everything out of these cars you can to figure out what the limit is and how far you can go. And these drivers aren't just going to try and get close to the limit. They're going to push it over the limit so that they know where exactly that limit is at. And, you know, we got about 4 minutes left of practice. Some cars choosing to run solo runs, some cars choosing to run in the pack. And I think it's good to do a little bit of both, Emerson. You know, you want to do some solo runs to figure out how you might stack up in qualifying, but also, as you said, how hard these cars are to drive solo makes them that much more challenging when they're in a pack.
Absolutely. There's just somebody I've been wanting to kind of hear from, and it's this driver who performed very, very well in last season, the Xfinity Series cars, and he won the Season 12 championship of the NORC iRacing Series, and that championship that was ran in the 1987 stock cars, and it was this driver that is on your screen right now. He's running the classic Dale Earnhardt Good Wrench livery, but that is Zoltan Herczeg. Let's see if we can bring him on up and hear from him. Actually, I don't believe we will be able to, but Zoltan Herczeg is definitely someone to watch out for tonight. Again, he led that championship. He won it by about 50 points there at the end of the season. And Herczeg, I mean, he's all around just anything stock cars. You shouldn't count him out of. But with that championship in his back pocket as well, Zoltan Herczeg's going to be someone you want to look for in tonight's event.
Well, he's got a beautiful paint scheme to ride along with him all evening. You see cars crashing in front of him, cars out there with similar paint schemes as himself, and you can see how he just slides all the way up to the wall. Then he has to cut through the travel back to the bottom.
Yeah, Zoltan Herczeg also won the NORC Classic last season as well. I knew that name also sounded familiar. That's what came to mind. I guess the championship was more, I guess, prominent in my mind. But Zoltan Herczeg did win last season's Classic. Right now, he's down in 17th on the practice times. But you know, at Daytona, practice times, I mean, you can throw those away as soon as the race starts, because it'll be a whole different ball game once you get these boys gridded up and ready to go for racing tonight. Out here, let's see, how about Matt Hummel in the 93 machine? Oh, well, he will take a hard right into the outside wall. How about Brett Pancari in his Princess Daisy, number 35, Ford Thunderbird, working down the front straightaway.
Yeah, and I think this will be a good chance to see just how these cars handle as he comes through right there. Let's see what kind of line he takes here in turns 1 and 2 in practice. He's Go middle and arch down. A little bit of diamond, actually going to stay up high and ride middle to the top. So these drivers just trying to figure out which grooves serve their car best. And I think that's all going to change once the race starts. You're going to just have to follow which groove is the quickest with the most cars in line.
So as Brett Pancari pulls off, another thing will be to trying to figure out what kind of line these drivers are going to want to run in qualifying. My first instinct is we're going to see a lot of these drivers enter high, and if they can hold it up high because of just how much horsepower are in these things that with their unrestricted motors, you're going to want to probably keep it up. Oh no. You're probably going to want to keep the car up high to scrub as little speed as you can, because if you can keep it at, say, 205 miles an hour all the way through your lap, that's gonna be amazing. But I mean, who am I kidding? You're gonna be scrubbing off so much speed in these cars. If you can maybe use that hill to your advantage, maybe pass a center to corner, maybe that'll help down the back straightaway. It'll be intriguing to see what gets the pole done in qualifying, as we're only 15 seconds away from the session ticking over.
Well, that's one of the things when you come to Daytona that's always, I wouldn't say as important to the race, but just as much fun to watch, is qualifying. I mean, you want to see at a 2.5-mile track who can put the pedal to the metal and put down the quickest lap.
And so the runoff time ticks over here, and we are now into qualifying for the NORC Classic. 60 laps. These things, they look like a handful by themselves, much less in the pack. I think clean air is going to be the name of the game, as it usually is in motorsport, but clean air definitely will be an advantage. And if you can hold that top spot, even better. Qualifying underway, and we got Scott List Rambler, Brett Pancari, the first takers to the track. So that pit exit cone is there off of turn 2. Let's see what Scott List Rambler decides to do to get that bad boy up to speed. And man, these things, they're going to take a while to get up to speed here. I mean, already actually up to 185, but I think to qualifying speed, you might want to use that second lap more than you might use this first lap.
Yeah, most definitely. You can see even though he's coming out of the turn, he's picking up speed, looking at 195 now, pushing upwards over 200 miles per hour. He'll come to the start-finish line and begin lap number 1 of his qualifying time. Works down and going to work into turns 1 and 2. And Emerson will get a good look right here riding on board to see exactly which line he wants to run. And you can see he's running up top. So not taking the shortest way around the racetrack, just going where his car handles best.
I'm still intrigued to see. I believe this is the lap he's still picking up speed, because, I mean, look at him. Just down the back straightaway. I think this is going to be the first time that he's going to hit 208. Is he going to hit 209 into the corner? No. He'll arc it down into the corner. He actually goes low on entry there. We'll see if that's able to pay off. Let's see who else is out there on the track. Looks like got last season's NORC 500 winner, Cody Miller. Out there. I'm sorry. NORC 500 was Femi, but Cody Miller won the season opener at Daytona, so there's still some Daytona success in Cody Miller's back pocket there. Matt Hummel will set the fastest time there on the qualifying chart so far out of 3 times. Cody Miller working it down the back straightaway in that number 28 machine.
Well, 44-second lap is the one to beat right now by Hummel. He sits at the top of the speed chart. Rambler, who we were riding on board with to begin with, sits there in second. And we ride with Miller right now, going to come across the stripe and put down a 44.776. So a new fastest time, though, happens to be Robin. He'll jump to the top of the boards. That red number 8 car, beautiful paint scheme riding around this racetrack right now. He works down the backstretch with the fastest time.
It will be Scott List Rambler taking provisional pole position, quickly taken back from Matt Hummel. He'll go and he'll do a blowover down in turn 1. Great work from Matt Hummel to have provisional pole for the moment. We still have more times to come. Of course, TCB still has yet to take to the track. Tom Mercier, Jared Darling, Bobby Zielinski, drivers who are getting up to speed. How about Jared Darling in his number 1 Welch's Ford Thunderbird getting up to speed now on his first timed lap?
Well, he's up by the wall, and I believe he made contact with the outside wall right there, so he'll work it back down the bottom of the racetrack. Darling going to get right up by the wall on the backstretch, building as much speed as he can. And when you're on your first lap, you are taking as much time as you can around the racetrack to add feet to the track to pick up time. So 1:28 left here in qualifying, and he continues to ride up by the wall in his Welch's paint scheme here for Jay Darling.
Jared Darling to the start finish line, and I guess a marquee of NORC is not a lot of drivers will take qualifying times, especially at these plate tracks. They all kind of want to sit in the pack and just kind of soak it all in. Some drivers will, but you'll see probably less than 10 when it's all said and done. Take times here at Daytona. Jared Darling put the 6th out of 6, but that was his first lap. I only see himself and Bobby Zielinski out there on the track. Everybody else is kind of sitting in the pit lane, letting time elapse. So we're only going to have 7 people take times.
Now that you mention that, Emerson, it begs the question, if you are one of those cars just sitting on pit lane, why wouldn't you go out and just make not even your best lap, just go out there and get some more track time, and even then better your starting position? You know, even if you only qualify and get the slowest lap out of what's gone, you're still rolling off 8th rather than where you would throughout the rest of the field.
So Bobby Zielinski goes ahead and takes his time there. Zielinski goes 5th quickest. Jared Darling went provisional pole. And here we go. We're getting ready to get to racing here for the NORC iRacing Series, NORC Classic in these 1987 cars. And Caleb, before we get into the starting grid here, just final thoughts before we get to racing here. 1987's old Daytona. What could be better?
I don't think there is much better right here at Daytona International Speedway. The best place for racing and a good place for NORC to so-called wrap up its time here, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get to it. The starting lineup for tonight's NORC Classic. Jared Darling on the provisional pole. He'll have the 93 of Matt Hummel alongside of him. Row number 2, it'll be Scott List Rambler. In the 3, Josh Robin in the 8. Row number 3, it'll be the 83 of Bobby Zielinski. The 35 of Brett Pancari. Row number 4, the 28 of Cody Miller. The 20 of Daniel Falkingham. And to make up row number 5, it'll be Femi Olot and Will Klein.
Making up row number 6, Seth Noel in the 17 and Aaron Smith in the 70. Starting off 13th is going to be the 96 of Zoltan Herzeg, and in 14th, Anthony Emery in the 44. Rolling off 15th and 16th, Bobby Cheney in the 24 and Tyrell Baker in the 25. Rolling off here in 17th is Spencer Owens in the 12. 18th is the 33 of Freddie Rosa. 19th and 20th look like this. Tom Mercier in the 68 and Howie Briss in the number 97.
Making up row number 11, it'll be the 69 of Sheldon Lockheed, the 74 of John Barry, starts 22nd. 23rd, it'll be the 89 of Sean Williams. The 42 of Elijah Gracia will be 24th. 25th, it'll be the 57 of James Simmons. The 03 of Dylan Patterson will start 26th. 27th, it'll be Jimmy Gregory. Michael Keithley will start 28th. And in the final row of the grid, well, no, that's it, actually. There's only 28 drivers taking to the track. You see Aaron Smith electing to already start from the pit lane. He does not want any part of, let's say, lap 1 festivities that may occur.
And you know, that for all the fans watching, that gives you a look at how hectic this race really can be. You have a driver already electing to start from pit lane so that he can avoid it, and that's how quickly things can get hectic here early on Pit Stop TV with the NORC 1987 series here at Daytona International Speedway.
Absolutely. Want to thank you all for tuning in and watching and joining us in NORC's final hoorah here with their NORC-Tona Speed Weeks. We got the 87s, of course, tonight. Up next will be what we call the ARCA cars here on iRacing, the Gen 4 cars. We'll take to Daytona next Tuesday, and then I think every Tuesday after that it'll be the trucks taking to the Speedway. Then the following week it'll be the Xfinity cars leading all the way up to the 2022 NORC Tona 500. Now, just moments away from getting to racing here at Daytona. Let's go and take a look at weather conditions tonight. Track temp 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That's actually fairly cool for a racing surface. Air temp nearly 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds, it's actually pretty windy out there as well. That might hinder these cars around the banking at 11.5 miles an hour out of the southeast. And to kick things off tonight, of course, we have to bring in the hype man of NORC himself, TCB. Take it away.
All right, boys, here you are here for the NORC Classic. Can I get a good old classic? Yeah!
1987 NASCAR stock cars up to speed here down to Daytona Super Stretch. Drivers taking to the apron as we work our way through turns 3 and 4 now. Jared Darling under heavy attack as we get down to the start-finish line. Matt Hummel around the outside and to the line. It appears it'll be Hummel at the line leading lap number 1.
Matt Hummel leads lap number 1 from the outside lane. Jay Darling battling back on the bottom, side by side for the lead as they exit off of turn number 2. The one car edges ahead just a little bit. That's Darling with a shove behind him. Rambler gives him that shot as they continue to race down the backstretch.
It'll be Josh Robin pushing the 93 up on the top side. How about Scott List Rambler working the bottom side behind the one of Jared Darling. Let's find our way back into the middle of this pack. Darling sideways off of turn 4. He's holding on to that thing. He's going to have to try to miss pit entry here. He will miss pit entry, but he will lose the front position at the inside lane. Freddie De La Rosa goes fastest. Now Michael Keithley goes fastest overall, and you'll see the fastest lap times come from the back of the pack. But now it is Matt Hummel in sole possession of the race lead at the front, but Bobby Zielinski already charging up the inside, challenging for that top spot.
Zielinski using the bottom of the racetrack to try and get past the leader, Hummel. Hummel's got more cars on top, though, helping him, but here comes the push from the 48 of Klein. Side by side, still racing for the lead. A loose 93 of Hummel. He makes contact with the outside wall.
Hummel up in the wall, being the gentleman, staying up there and not impeding the rest of traffic. He'll now have to try to hope for a full course caution. Well, it's not a course. Oh no, and the tire's gonna come off too. Oh, Matt Hummel's he's gonna have a hard time getting that thing back to the pits in one piece. Already up in the outside wall early. We lose our front row within 3 laps of this thing starting. It's now Bobby Zielinski, Will Klein, and Scott List Rambler, the top 3.
Well, now I think you can see why some of these drivers elected not to qualify and start up there with how hectic the start of this race is. Bobby Zielinski continues to lead now as they jump single file, and you can see the sparks coming off the cars in front as we ride on board of Rambler right here, pushing at 204, 205, all the way up to 208 miles per hour here in this draft as they come through the trial to complete lap number 5 of 60.
Don't look too soon. Here comes Zoltan Herzeg in the number 96. So I guess the 3 up there on the high side, trying to work his way up now to the rear end of Bobby Zielinski. And now Zielinski, of course, he came up high naturally to block that amazing run that Herzeg carried with him off of turn number 4 down the back straightaway. Herzeg in prime position to pull out of the line and go for the lead. And look at that, diving down low. He's sideways entering 3. Can he get down there? Can he hold on to it? Looks like he is clear to the race lead.
He dove to the bottom and was able to make it stick. Herzeg up to the lead, but he'll get a bump from Zielinski. He wants to lead back coming to the tri-oval.
Bobby Zielinski will not go away quietly, and now you can see a distinct break in the field. There's about 12 cars in this lead pack. 12th place, Seth Noel, the driver that is currently the last car in his lead pack. Everybody else has kind of fallen off, either trying to stay out of trouble, or really not even of their own doing. Side by side for lead again. Zelensky down low. He's trying to get some help from behind. That's Will Klein trying to get up to the rear end. Zoltan sideways, 3 wide, now in the heart of the lead pack. Here comes Scott List Rambler. Josh Robin to the inside, now leading the first car on the inside lane. It's Zelensky back out in front.
Zelensky goes back to the top of the charts here to complete lap 7 of 60. And boy, oh boy, does he have a strong race car, a 1987 Chevy Monte Carlo. He can go from the top to the bottom, and there is contact through the middle of the field.
TCB goes around Josh Robin. They saved it almost, and now they're all junked. There's tires coming off the cars. Brett Pancari and Round in the grass. Oh no, they were wrecking for a long time. I thought they actually had their fair chance at saving those things, but unfortunately, she just let loose there at the center of 1 and 2.
So the caution flag will wave here, lap 7 of 60, and they were some interesting first 7 laps. We had a good bit of lead changes. As Emerson, we're going to take a look back here on the replay right here on Pit Stop TV.
We'll get a good view and see what had happened here on lap number 7 of the NORC Classic, and it's a classic accordion effect. It's kind of what we saw live. That is Will Klein blocked Rambler. Robin had nowhere to go. De La Rosa ran him over. TCB got ran over by Jared Darling. They came back up. Hertzeg narrowly avoids it. Brett Pancari involved. And others. Looks like it's only actually a 4-car incident. Very lucky. I think that many more did not get involved in that one.
We're going to have to see what that'll do for Hummel, as we talked about him needing a caution as he made contact with the outside wall. I believe he was 2 laps down. So we'll see if anything, if maybe he can get a lap back as we look one more time at a replay right here. And it's some of these double moves, I believe, Emerson, that just you go to the top, you cut right back down to the bottom, and sometimes it's just almost too late, and that's what's catching up with these drivers right here.
All right, Michael Keefley and I believe that's Hertzeg. No, that's not Hertzeg. That's another good wrench 3-car. They take avoiding action on the bottom side of the racetrack. Howie Briss of a 4th vehicle involved. So only 4 cars involved in this opening caution of the NORC Classic, and rightfully so. Pit lane is a busy place. I think everybody but Bobby Zelensky on the pit lane right now.
I think tires are going to be really important all afternoon with this old abrasive racetrack, with all the bumps and the wear and tear. The second you can get fresh tires, you're going to come in here and you're going to get them.
Absolutely. This is also dependent on how many sets of tires these drivers have. I'd imagine there will be ample sets of tires, but again, how many cautions we have, if there is a tire set limit, will you take tires on every stop? It's going to come down to it. Maybe that's why Bobby Zelensky stayed out. And the race off pit lane continues to be its thing. Looks like drivers also getting some damage repairs. Let's see who's out and around. Who can we hear from? I want to see if we can hear from Will Klein here. And Will, there's a lot that went on there up at the front. Looks like you got away pretty clean, but what did you see there going into turn 1?
It was in my mirror, so I didn't see anything. Never look in your mirror, you look out the windshield.
Fair enough. Up front, it's been hectic. I mean, absolutely hectic. Zoltan got up there, Zelensky, they were duking it out. The front row, we lost them within 3 laps of the race. What's this already 9 laps in? This war of attrition been like to you? And are you having fun out there?
Well, when you get clean air on this car, and you got somebody pushing you, you are very, very loose. So guys, will go up through the pack and arrow push where it's a little tighter, and then get to the lead, and then they'll lose at the first corner because it's such a different feeling. So that's what a bunch of people have been doing. They've been sliding up, and some have hit the wall.
Right. As we go on here, looks like everybody came down and took tires there, except Bobby Zielinski stayed out. How many tire sets do y'all have to work with here, and at what point are you gonna maybe, if it comes down to it, stay out for track position over tires?
I don't think many took tires there, actually. We only have a few sets, and, you know, we do have one pit stop for fuel, so it never hurts just to top off.
A little bit of an enlightenment into the strategy of the race. This is all coming to make sense a little bit here. Thanks, Will. You're gonna be starting here inside row 2. What's the game plan? The lead pack got broken down to 12 cars here. You were a prominent figure at the front of it. What's your game plan to stay up there and stay in contention in this thing?
I'm gonna wait for the end, man. There's still 50 laps. There's a lot of carnage left. And we actually have a single file restart here, so I'm behind a couple cars, so I'll have to pay attention for when the leader goes.
Even better, more nostalgia with the classic restart rules. Well, we're going to leave you to it here. Best luck, driver. Hopefully we'll talk to you on the far side.
All right, thank you.
Driver of the number 48, Will Klein there, getting ready to restart here at Daytona. And the iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane. Bobby Zielinski will lead the field to the green here at Daytona. Down the Daytona Super Stretch once again. Cody Miller has taken the top spot out at the front of the field into that number 28 machine. Zielinski up high. Will Klein there in third, down low. Near contact out of 4. Zielinski catches the wall. He keeps that thing pointed in the right direction. Here comes Freddie De La Rosa in the Red Bull number 33 machine.
Racing into turns 1 and 2. Miller continues to lead, but here comes Klein down on the bottom, and Klein, as he talked under yellow, said these cars have a really bad aero push when they're out front and get very loose, and right now he looks to be out front, but all the help's up on the top side.
Zielinski nudges Miller out in front. Zielinski now peeks to the outside. Miller holding station in the middle of that high middle lane combo there, entering turn number 3. Now Miller pulls away for a steady advantage. Zoltan Herczeg returns to do battle at the front of the field. Sheldon Lockie, Seth Noel, drivers who are at the back of that lead pack. Zielinski from the top to the bottom trying to take the lead away. He's got Will Klein and Zoltan Herczeg behind. Now Sheldon Lockie joins them down low. A move into turn 1 to set himself to the high side. Clear to the race lead is Zielinski again.
Zielinski jumps out front once again, comes off of turn number 2 and leads this back down the backstretch. A nice shot right there looking out the rear view window as you see Miller pull up to his back bumper. Miller gonna look to the bottom but can't make that pass. Now here comes the 48 of Klein. He's second there in the picture, and these drivers riding through these turns at just about 200 miles per hour as he continues to block both Miller and Klein down the front stretch.
How cool is that? Getting to look at it right from the rear end of the race leader's vehicle. Zielinski blocking both lanes. Klein now pulls up alongside Miller. He peeks to the inside, but that inside lane, they've actually got a lift down there. A lot to not hit the group up on the top side, and for their own selves to make the corners. You're actually seeing, you're maybe not seeing it do justice from these TV cameras, but we might have to ride on board. Here comes Cody Miller diving to the inside for the race lead. But when they get into these corners, especially later in the race, they're going to be lifting a lot on corner entry.
Well, I'll tell you, the car that's been dominating so far in these first 14 laps has been Zielinski. And I want to say that his car just has that speed through the center of the corner that you were just talking about, Emerson. And he doesn't have to lift. He's able to hold tough even up there on the outside with help down on the bottom of the racetrack. But Miller will prevail to the lead, but Zielinski battling back up top.
We're right on board here with Sheldon Lockie. He gets the seed. All the battle happened in front. Herczeg moves his way to the top side as Miller blocks up high. Now they go side by side for the race lead up front.
Side by side, give the lead to Herzeg. He'll jump to the top of the racetrack now in front of Miller and command that top line. Diamond's a bit off the corner. Miller pulls right back to his bumper, and just like that, Miller shoots to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll try and get the run, give the lead back to Miller.
Miller took it at the line. Klein and Zielinski battle back. Here comes Sheldon Lockey up inside the top 5. Herzeg now holding station on the high side. The bottom lane, not the preferred lane through these corners, as it would be, I guess, in any other stock car here. But Zielinski now up to the rear end of Herzeg. Klein gives a nice little shot to Cody Miller to get him moving in the right direction. Now here comes Seth Noel to that bottom side. Jared Darling reemerges into this lead pack. He's up to 8th.
Back out front, Miller continues to lead. He's back to the top of the racetrack, blocking Herzeg in the number 3 Good Wrench Monte Carlo. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, the 48 of Klein, all down there by himself. But here comes the 69 of Lockey starting to join in on this picture. Top 5 all thrown under a blanket with 17 laps of 60 complete.
You get to see under Bobby Zielinski's vehicle there, 3 wide down the back straightaway as Will Klein shoots it down to the inside, trying to take it away from Cody Miller. And down into turns 3 and 4, it is Will Klein out in front now on that bottom side as well. Can he clear up out of the corner? Miller's got the run. He will clear. Where's Miller going to go? Right back to the inside. Zoltan Herzeg going even under the yellow line. Not really out of bounds in these cars. At this track, really, you can go down there if you can make it work. And Herzeg went down there. He got a few positions himself to get himself back inside the top 4.
Klein working up the racetrack a little bit right here, but here comes our pole sitter to the bottom of the racetrack. He works back into the 4th place position. That's Jared Darling. He's back up to 4th, and he hunts the front.
A slight breakaway for the top 3, quickly closed up with that draft down to the Daytona super stretch. It's Zielinski back to the point. Will Klein on the bottom side working to the inside of Cody Miller. Jared Darling wants to reclaim the spot that was once his earlier on in this event. He's going to go ahead and work up the rear end of Will Klein's 48 machine, and now looks to work his way past the 28 of Cody Miller.
Will Klein right there in second behind Zielinski. Zielinski back out front. He's led the most laps so far this afternoon. Miller there stuck up on the top side by himself, but I believe the help will come from Herzeg. Herzeg will join him on the top side as now Darling will slide up there into 4th as these cars ride single file on lap 19 of 60.
You're starting to see the results of tire wear take effect on this field. Jared Darling caught the apron there. He's losing a lot of momentum on the bottom side. Once again, just as he was going in the right direction, he gets sent backwards. 3 wide for the lead. Klein takes it. The caution is on the speedway. It is Michael Keefley in trouble off of turn 4.
So just as the battle for the lead was heating up, the caution will come out. 20 of 60 laps completed so far. Look at the replay right here and see what happened to bring out this yellow right here on Pit Stop TV.
So here we go. This is Michael Keefley tailing the 70 of Aaron Smith, just ahead of the 89 of Sean Williams in the 3. That's just right rear tire wear taking effect. He went around, and I assume there's going to be some traffic coming by, and iRacing will detect a car perpendicular to the racing line as drivers are coming by, and will throw a full course caution on the speedway.
We'll have to see what these drivers decide to do, whether they'll come down pit lane once again. Will Klein out front. The last time we talked to him, Emerson, he was sitting there in 3rd, and he puts himself in front of this field here at the 2nd caution. Was Zielinski back behind him along with Miller. That's your top 3 as they run with 20 laps complete here at Daytona International Speedway.
Pit lane, a busy place. Will Klein leads the whole charge down the pit lane, and just where are we at? Just over 10 laps from our last set of pit stops. You heard tires weren't really being taken very. At least Will Klein doesn't think. And wow, driver is missing their pit box. My goodness, Seth Noel missed his by a mile.
Cars getting a service right here. You can see the one car there. Jared Starling getting jacked up. He looks like he's going to go for 4 tires right here. And twice now coming out of turn 4, that one car has clipped the apron and lost a lot of momentum and had to work his way back to the field. So perhaps something they're trying to fix here as he rolls back out onto the racetrack.
Tom Mercier wins the race off the pit lane. He takes the race lead as a result. Let's see what we've got going on here. I'd like to see if maybe we could hear from the driver who's kind of been doing all the work at the front of the field, Bobby Zielinski. Bobby, it has looked like a blast up there, but what say you?
Yeah, I'm just here to dig and race hard until I wreck or win, so it's fun.
I love it. Until I wreck or until I win. Bobby, now this is going to be starting from 5th here, 5th car. Single file restarts. A little bit of work to do to get up to the front, but it looks like this draft is so powerful, and especially the way you've been able to maneuver this 83 car throughout the field. Looks like you've got maneuverability figured out to a T. But how is it going to be working your way from 5th, as you started 5th anyway, but from 5th to the lead once again?
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. It seems like if you're in the top 5 or so, it just keeps kind of interchanging. The leader is a little bit of a sitting duck, and then second gets a big run and kind of pulls under them and gets by. But I've been just kind of liking running the high side. I feel like it's kind of the place to be. The car's a lot easier to drive. You get these big runs, so probably just going to stick to the high side.
It has definitely seemed like that high side is preferred line. Second time now, we've seen about 10 laps into the race. These drivers really start to, I guess, worry about their right rear tire wearing, or maybe the right rear tire is just gone at that point. Would you agree with that? And how do you combat that? Can you combat that if you're battling that hard for the race lead?
We'll figure it out when we get there. I mean, it's been a little bit loose, but like I think it'll be fine. I think if we went like green to the end and could make it on fuel, like there's gonna be some guys that are struggling with saving the car and such, but I think I'll be all right. There was a couple of moments where I was drifting. It was just fun. I don't know.
Well, it's been looking like a blast, Bobby. 9 laps led so far out of the 21 complete. Go get them, driver. Hopefully we're talking to you on the far side.
10-4.
And that was driver of the number 83, Bobby Zielinski. In the 5th position once again. He started there. Should not be any feat too difficult for that man in the 83. Back up front, it is now Zoltan Hertzeg, the race leader. It is Cody Miller starting 2nd. Will Klein, 3rd. The iRacing.com safety vehicle will make that hard left-hand turn into the safety pit lane. Caleb, we're back to racing here at Daytona.
Cars picking up speed as they work through turns 1 and 2. Trying to find their line. Racing picking up here as they pick up speed down the Daytona super stretch. Who's going to lead this lap first back from caution? Zielinski makes it 3 wide.
Who else would it be if it wasn't for Bobby Zielinski, already in the race lead? Entering turn 3, and around goes Jared Darling, and oh no! Up and over is Zoltan Hertzeg, and we have another caution on the speedway. Oh no! He gets collected there. I believe that's the 57 of James Simmons. More vehicles in the grass. And Zoltan Hertzeg goes over and over.
And just as those cars were coming back to complete this first lap from the yellow under green flag conditions, we have the one car get loose and up into the wall. The same problem in the same corner we've had now. We've seen him have for the 3rd time as we ride on board with Zoltan Hertzeg as he was split 3 wide for the race lead.
So here we go into turns 3 and 4. Jared just gets loose in front of Zoltan and just nowhere to go. Zoltan, the unfortunate result of Jared Darling getting loose there in the 3, and that's the 3rd time now today. Jared's gotten sideways on this end of the speedway, and this time it'll result in a few other competitors going getting some damage in this one. But look, that car's still running. Here's Zoltan. How about it?
Well, obviously not what he wanted to happen there. I don't think any of those drivers up in the front of the field there, Emerson, were expecting it to transpire the way it did. But nonetheless, both the one car of Darling and Zoltan Hertzeg find themselves in some trouble, as you see that 57 car of James Simmons, who's right on board, also get caught up in that contact, and it appears James just couldn't slow back down as the car slid down the racetrack.
Unfortunate incident there for Jared Darling, Zoltan Hertzeg, and James Simmons. One more time, want to see how this all went down for Zoltan Hertzeg, and maybe we'll take one more replay because we got to see that amazing move for the race lead that Bobby Zielinski just did, but their sideways contact with Will Klein that then sent Darling up the racetrack. Now, not Will Klein's fault at all, just the car that Jared hit after he got sideways. James Simmons came in with nowhere to go. And I know it looked like he didn't try to slow down for the incident, James Simmons. But let me tell you, these things, it feels like they don't have any brakes in them. He tried. I can tell you he did try to slow down for that wreck. He just could not slow down for that wreck.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you right there, Emerson. As we gonna look right here.
This is how the race lead changed hands.
Yeah, right on board, you see Zielinski jump to the top of the racetrack right there. Such a strong car to be able to change lanes like that and keep the speed up.
Look at that.
Great car control as well by Bobby Zielinski as he shoots the middle and takes the lead.
Well, you know, they don't just hand out that, you know, eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series seat to just anyone. But Bobby Zielinski, a great driver in the premier iRacing Stock Car Series. And coming down to back to NORC to do some battle for the NORC Classic, and he has been phenomenal tonight. Very, very exciting to watch that number 83 machine tonight.
So still under yellow right here, lights out on the pace car, which means we will be coming to the green flag. This time, just 3 laps short of the halfway point. Emerson, so far, what have been your biggest takeaways as we near the halfway point of this race?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and as they should, everyone is just here to have fun. It's kind of like one last time of these NORC drivers, so I guess one last month, these NORC drivers get together and do this. Now, granted, I know that they will be partaking in leagues where all of them group up once again, but I guess under the NORC banner. All these drivers, they're here to have some fun, and they are. What we're then seeing is we're seeing the same kind of names stay up at the front of the pack, and then there's been a certain like group of drivers just hanging out closer to mid pack, but they end up a little bit behind the lead pack. They don't usually get themselves involved in trouble. There's been a few instances where there has been some trouble in the middle of the pack. But most of those drivers, for the most part, have stayed clean, and we will see them charge up through the field later in this race. I guarantee you that.
Well, I would agree with you, as Miller's going to sit there in second. We'll see what Zielinski does on this restart from the lead. You mentioned he started in 5th to begin the race, and then that past restart he started in 5th, but pace car getting ready to pull down pit lane, and we're getting ready to go back racing here on Pit Stop TV.
Getting up to speed, these 650 horse-powered beasts Matt Hummel will lap the vehicle down, restarting on the inside lane, as that's how restart rules ended up. Lap cars would start up on the inside lane as they could try to fight back for their lap back. Well, we have quite the pack at the front of this pack. It is Freddie De La Rosa charging to the inside in that Red Bull number 33 machine. Side by side for the race lead. Zelensky up high, De La Rosa down low. It is Zelensky that time by the line, but Freddie De La Rosa is here to play.
De La Rosa wants to get that lead. He works down the bottom of the racetrack. He's got Klein behind him, but Zelensky making that orange 83 car work from the top of the racetrack. He's got Miller behind him. Side by side by side, they go down the backstretch with Zelensky out front.
We have about 12 cars in Viz lead pack once again. Aaron Smith actually back in 12th position, watching all of this unfold in front of him. The battle for the lead as tight as it's been all day long. De La Rosa still fights down low, but Zelensky, you heard in his interview, that top side is the preferred line in his eyes, and he continues to lead at the stripe on that top side.
Well, Zelensky has some cars who agree with him with the top being the way to go, but now everyone shifts down to the bottom of the racetrack. And look at Zelensky continue to make that top side work. There's Miller helping him up top. We ride on board here with Patterson. He rides third in line on the bottom of the racetrack.
The inside lane gets a good pull. De La Rosa trying to take the lead. He's cleared to the race lead. Klein sparks. Zelensky takes it to the middle. How about 3 wide for the race lead here at Daytona?
Zelensky shoots the middle once again. Not able, but give it now to the bottom feeder. The 48 car of Klein. He'll shoot to the front of the field and take the lead as La Rosa falls even further back outside the top 5. Just at the halfway point, it's like they were racing to the finish.
If that was the finish, how about Will Klein at the line there for the race lead? Now Dylan Patterson inserts himself into the mix. Zelensky pushes the 48. Here comes Femi Olot in the 3 down to the bottom side.
Here comes that 3 car to the bottom of the racetrack. He's joined this party now at the front of the field. No help there on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll make it stick, pulls up to the door of the 48 of Klein. He'll lead this lap.
All by himself, Femi Olot will go from goodness who knows what position to the lead in one lap. What a power move from Femi Olot.
Olot now gaps the field by 3 or 4 car lengths. Now we know that's going to come back to hurt him as they're going to catch this run down the backstretch. We look out his rear view window. 4 wide. 4 wide. Zelensky is putting his car anywhere he can. Now he'll go to the top of the racetrack, back to the lead.
How
He tried for the lead.
How about this? A couple of eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers doing battle at the front of the field. Femi Olot, Bobby Zelensky, side by side to the line. It is Zelensky that time by the start-finish line.
Zelensky once again will jump to the front of the field. Klein rides there now in second. Well, battling for second. You can see how loose that 3 car of Femi Olot is. Now joining the picture one again is the 8 car of Robin. Miller rides there in 5th as they'll jump single file down the backstretch.
Josh Robin pulls out of line. He's got Will Klein out in front of him. Will Klein trying to take that top spot. Robin trying to find his way up to second. Josh Robin sparking with Will Klein on the bottom side. They all get cleared of Zelensky. Zelensky back to the 3rd position. Now he's boxed in because here comes Femi Olot to his inside. Will Klein holds the lead sideways as Robin. He'll hold on to that thing.
What a save for the 8 car of Robin. That'll put Klein way out front. Now the 3 car, we should say the 18 car of Femi Olot will ride there in second. The 8 car of Robin still working that top side, but there's the 03 car of Patterson.
You mentioned Daniel Falkingham, though, working his way into the mix. How about the Season 13 champion? He clinched the championship with a racer. Really, he clinched that championship a while before that final race. But let's just say 2 races to go. Falkingham clinched it, and he's here to have some fun, in these last NORC races. He's working his way up inside the top 5. He'll work his way past the 83 of Zelensky. Now he looks to the inside of the 03 of Patterson. Daniel Falkingham showing why he's a NORC iRacing champion.
looks now to the top of the racetrack. Bobby Zielinski just behind him. Andy Falkingham in fourth. That's how they run fourth, fifth, and sixth. And don't look now, a car that was involved in a caution earlier, the 53 car of Keithley now joins the top 10 and rides there in eighth.
Michael Keithley ready to do some work at the front of the field. Eighth position. Patterson eats the wall hard. Everybody will work their way on by. Patterson keeps it up there. Looks like we will stay green, but now the top 7. For the most part, single file. Keithley now under attack from Cody Miller.
Cody Miller now jumps to the top of the racetrack.
No.
He'll make contact with the wall. Sparks fly. He'll continue to roll on just fine. Cars work to the bottom of the racetrack. And Emerson, I think we're going to start to see more and more of just that, as this is the longest green flag run we've had so far in this race.
Absolutely. There's a lot of movement in the heart of this pack. Drivers starting to feel less and less comfortable around their competitors. How about this? This is Bobby Chaney leading now Zoltan Herzeg. Herzeg, by the way, he wants to move his way. Oh, we got a crash up in the front. Car is sliding. I believe that's the 8 of Josh Robin. Everybody darts for the grass. And it's Josh Robin sideways on the racing surface, coming to a rest on the apron.
Well, I guess I will take the a bit of announcer's jinx right there, as I mentioned being on the longest green flag run of the evening, and that is just about when Robin made contact with the wall. We'll look at a replay right here and see just what happened with Robin. Emerson, take us through what you see right here as he was battling for the lead.
Yeah, he was tailing Femiola here, the 8 of Josh Robin. He did not clip the apron there in the 3. Looks like he's just kind of riding up, trying to keep his foot in it while he's using the slipstream off of 4. He eats the wall. Zielinski nowhere to go, and the 8 just kind of goes pre-riding. Oh, Falkingham hard into the outside wall as well.
We'll get to see what happens now with a heavy hitter like Zielinski. You saw he made hard contact with that 8 car when it came back down the racetrack. So obviously going to come down and do a repair and come back out, and we'll see how he can shake out and come through the rest of this field.
I'm going to ride on board with Falkingham here. You see Zielinski right in front. There's Robin hitting the wall. Zielinski nowhere to go. Oh, and there's just a little bit of net code that clips Falkingham's right rear, sends him spinning.
Nice replay shots right here on Pit Stop TV.
Pit lane, going to be a busy place as per usual. Will Klein and a few others will stay out. Looks like it'll be Keithley, Patterson, and that's about it. It is Zielinski and the rest of the field on the pit lane getting repairs and fuel and tires and all the sorts of service. As we continue on through this race, you'll see more and more cars end up getting banged up throughout the field. There is no fast repairs, to my knowledge, in this race. And you see there, drivers are going to be collecting battle scars throughout the evening. And that'll become more and more prominent as we continue to have these incidents.
Well, with 23 laps remaining, I believe we will see more and more of these battle scars, as you talked about. I think you could see as this laps are winding down, the intensity's picking up along with tire wear on that last run, and at some point something just had to give, and now Klein and Keithley find themselves at the front of the field.
I'm going to bring someone up who's been up at the front, duking it out quite a bit. I want to bring up Dylan Patterson up into the booth. Dylan, it's looked like a lot of fun out there. Got the wall a couple times, but that 03 is still looking strong. The plan to stay out here, why is that?
I cannot uncheck my tires on my keyboard because my keyboard's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm kind of just taking it and staying out. I'm sure I probably have 10-15 seconds of damage. I had 25 seconds earlier in the race. It didn't seem to be affecting me too much though. We'll see how these tires are though. I'm planning on probably just dropping back, coming across the backstretch.
It has been a lot of action up here. A lot of 3 wads, daring moves, and you've kind of been around now this final run from the last restart to now. What has it been like to experience all that and just kind of be darting around and be darted around by some of the names of this series.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, racing up here with both Femi and Zelensky, that run, that was fun. These cars are obviously a handful, so having to completely lift it Daytona and really drive the car is different.
Right. Well, with 22 laps to go, you said you're going to be dropping to the back. How is this all going to work out? How are you going to get yourself back up to the front when the checkered flag flies?
I mean, I think it's safe to say there's most likely going to be another yellow, so hopefully I can keep myself towards the front enough just to stay out of trouble and get the last set of tires, get my damage fixed.
Right on. Well, Dylan, I'm going to leave you to it. Best luck to you, and hopefully we're talking to you on the far side.
Yeah, hopefully. See ya.
Driver of the number 03, Dylan Patterson, in the third position of the NORC Classic. We're getting ready to restart with 22 laps to go. It is Will Klein, Michael Keithley, Dylan Patterson, Seth Noel, Aaron Smith, the top 5. A bunch of names that haven't been up here to the full extent of the evening. The pace vehicle in the safety of pit lane. We're back to racing from the world center of racing.
Single file, they work through turns 1 and 2. A couple cars jump to the bottom. A couple cars stick to the top. Klein continues to lead this group down the backstretch. They'll fan out 2 and 3 wide.
They pack up down the back straightaway. How about it? It is Femiola working up the bottom side. He's got Daniel Falkingham in his newly repaired number 20 machine powering up the middle. They work their way up inside the top 5. Aaron Smith was a visitor into the top 5, and he's quickly being escorted out by some of the others who want to eagerly get back into the mix of this race.
Femiola has joined back to the front of the field here in second. He's looking for the race lead, gets a good run on the bottom of the racetrack, side by side with Klein. A power move down on the bottom of the racetrack for Femiola.
Femiola takes the race lead. Daniel Falkingham hot in pursuit. He'll follow through, and they'll both clear to the front two. We just saw Daniel Falkingham nose it into the outside wall, and he's already back in the second.
Femiola leads here. Danny Falkingham rides there in second with a beautiful old school Pepsi paint scheme. Looks to the top of the racetrack. Those two drivers pulling away a little bit from the rest of this pack.
Here's a name we haven't said much of today, the 74 of John Barry. He puts the power move on Dylan Patterson, has to lift. Caution on the speedway.
Caution flag out, not sure what for. We will find out a little bit further in the back. And Zelensky with a lot more damage now, as he was riding in about 21st when before the caution. So we'll have to see what happened with Bobby Zelensky out of California.
That left front tire has seen better days. Let's see what happened to V83 of Zelensky. Bottom side of 1. Keithley gets the wall. And Simmons, nowhere to go. Zelensky, nowhere to go as well. Also the car behind, nowhere to go. Kind of ran him over. That'll send Zelensky into the outside wall. And fortunately, it looks like really only Simmons and Zelensky, the only two really taken in this incident. I'm going to get an overhead shot here so you can see kind of how all of this unfolds. Zelensky there in a bright orange 83, center of your screen. Keithley in the green and orange vehicle, top of the 3 wide up ahead. Looks like we'll kind of get blocked by the wall, but you see Keithley get the wall. Simmons gets turned. Looks like Sheldon Lockie had nowhere to go. Simmons and Zelensky really the only two drivers really in trouble. You see the 42 of Elijah Gracia go for a spin, but no damage.
Some hard hits, though, I tell you, especially when these cars violently sling back in front of these cars that are coming by. And, those cars are coming by at full song trying to avoid the wreck, and doesn't make for a good recipe for success when that happens.
Well, remember earlier we just talked about how I believe it was James Simmons was trying to avoid an incident, but he just couldn't. There wasn't enough break. There wasn't enough time with these big 3,700-pound vehicles. I want to also bring that into the spotlight. Stock cars now are 250 to 300 pounds lighter than these stock cars, which just makes these more and more difficult to drive.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh no!
Oh,
What?
that under yellow. Not sure exactly what that was.
TCB has just hit Daniel Falkingham under caution, and TCB now dirt tracking it through the grass. What in the world happened there? We're gonna get a replay and see what had happened. So I'm believing that this is a lucky dog scenario, and that Terrell Baker was the lucky dog. That's why he's speeding up here. Everybody's on the high side. He darts down.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh wow. Just a little. I believe miscommunication. I mean.
Right.
Wow.
Wow. So yeah, TCB was just trying to take the lucky dog, and Falkingham did not get that memo, and unfortunately was rear-ended by TCB coming by, getting up to speed here to get his lap back. This is an overhead shot. This is how we saw it live, pretty much. And Falkingham, he went to the high side. He sees Baker coming. He tried to maybe give him the high side, but at that same time, TCB darted to the inside. There was no, I don't think there's any ill intent between either of them. Just, yeah, like you said, miscommunication. Under caution, that's so bizarre to see. And now Daniel Falkingham is in the pit lane getting repairs. He was up in the second position after being rear-ended under yellow.
Yeah, Emerson. Yeah, that's just what I was thinking about. Sitting there in second with 16 laps to go, 16, 17 laps to go. Not ideal now to have to come through this field, because you know just as well as I do, things aren't going to be as calm and smooth as they have been. It's going to be a tough feat to get through this field and keep your nose clean, and he was in a good spot.
Yeah, Falkingham has been kind of in the middle of the pack all day. He finally started to show his nose there in that power move with Femiola, and now being rear-ended under a full course caution. We'll see him sent to the rear of the field. He'll be back into 22nd. He's still in the pit box, by the way. He has not gotten his damage fully repaired. He is still at 0 miles per hour on telemetry, and there's only 21 vehicles on the lead lap. He continues to lose time to the leader, so he may as well fall a lap down. It was a heavy impact for Falkingham to be at caution speed and TCB for getting up to speed.
Absolutely. Gonna go back racing this time, but just unfortunate for Falkingham.
He's now rolling again, so he will try to catch the cue. He will not catch it before we take the green, but he's going to be hoping for another caution. There's a little bit of a jumbled mess in the middle of the pack as the iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane once again. We are back to racing from the World Center of Racing, 16 laps to settle the NORC Classic. Down the back straightaway, it's Femiola in a highly and hotly contested battle for the race lead. Will Klein, Seth Noel now cleared in the top 3. John Barry, Freddie De La Rosa right at the top 5. Flip him 4th and 5th.
Femiola, one of those drivers that's been able to keep his nose clean all afternoon, along with Klein. They both ride 1st and 2nd now as they come across the stripe to complete lap 46. Car looking low. Noel to the bottom of the racetrack. Klein thinks about joining him down there. Going to stay up in the middle of the racetrack, but here comes De La Rosa on the outside. He sits there in third.
If you looked in the background of your screens, there was a car skipping across pit lane. That was Spencer Owens. He has kept that vehicle under control, and we stay green. It is now Femi Olot with the push up the inside. Freddie De La Rosa wants to move up to second. He's cleared of Will Klein. Seth Noel on the bottom side. John Barry on the high side for for the battle for fourth. The top three going at it. It's now De La Rosa to the top spot.
De La Rosa in that Red Bull racing machine jumps to the front of the field, tucks it down to the bottom of the racetrack right here to put a little bit of a block on the 48 of Klein. Klein pulls to his bumper right here, but here comes Femi Olot back on the top of the racetrack. You got to pick a line and stick with it. He'll jump to the top side.
Seth Noel pushing Will Klein up the inside. Will Klein get the run to jump out in front? Actually, Klein looks like he has taken that spot, but he is not cleared for the race lead. They continue to duke it off the corner. De La Rosa with the run of the hill. Noel right on the rear end of the 48. How about 13 laps to go from Daytona?
New fastest lap clicks at the top of the screen, a 42.480. A little late in the race, but we're still putting down quick times. La Rosa still outside, still on the top side with the lead, but Klein gonna battle back on the bottom with a push from Noel.
Aaron Smith, the driver, setting that fastest lap from 9th position, last car in the lead pack. And that's where the fastest lap is generally going to come from. Cars at the back of big packs, getting all the draft they can. And Aaron Smith was the most recent one to take advantage of it. Side by side, still for the race lead. De La Rosa on the bottom side, Femi Olot on the high side. Will Klein wants to find his way somewhere past these two, and Seth Noel looks like to be the 48's wingman for the most part. Sheldon Lockie inserts himself into the mix, and how about the car that was upside down not more than 20 laps ago? Zoltan Herzeg back into the mix.
Zoltan Herzeg back inside the top 10. He rides there as the 48 car looks to make a move to the bottom of the racetrack on La Rosa. Can't make the pass. That 33 car continues to lead out front over the rest of the field.
Tight, close-quartered racing there for a second. Will Klein, Femi Olot using up each other's side panels as they go through turns 3 and 4. De La Rosa blocking both lanes. Olot with the run on the high side. Klein with the pushing help on the bottom side. Sheldon Lockie trying to put himself into the mix. Gets right up to the rear end of Seth Noel. And it's now 5 cars definitively at the front of this field. It's Herzeg and John Barry doing battle for 6th.
De La Rosa continues to make these double moves. How long is he going to be able to keep his nose clean out front to the top of the racetrack? Cuts down to the bottom of the racetrack, then back up to the top of the racetrack. Coming here to the stripe, Rosa leads here over Femi Olot and Klein.
10 laps to go, 25 miles to settle it all from the World Center of Racing for the NORC Classic. Freddie De La Rosa, Will Klein, Femi Olot, Seth Noel, Sheldon Lockie at the top 5. John Barry, Aaron Smith, Howie Briss, Zoltan Herzeg, and Scott List Rambler. The top 10, Cody Miller, Dylan Patterson up in his lead pack as well. Patterson said he's going to the back. He's still here alive and well with a chance in this lead pack.
Rides there at the rear of the field. We mentioned the problems he was having with his tires. He rides right up there behind there, going at 208 miles per hour. Patterson comes through the tri-oval. 9 laps to go here on Pit Stop TV for the NORC Classic.
Look at how much Patterson has to lift there. And that's because he's the last car in the line. I can imagine if you have a car directly in front of you and you're still trying to compete for that position. Patterson has to lift at 210 miles an hour. Now looking to go 215, 217, 220 down the back straightaway. Oh, we got a car in the wall. It's Freddie De La Rosa. It's Will Klein to the top spot now at the front of this field.
Contact with the wall was De La Rosa. William Klein jumps to the front. As you mentioned, Emerson, he will lead that lap. And hanging tough still on the outside is Femiolot.
Seth Noel now trying to take that second spot away. He wants to put himself in a prime position to compete. He makes contact there with Femi Olot. They're at the center of 1 and 2. He clears Olot. Here comes Sheldon. Lockie, a push from John Barry down on the bottom side. Noel follows the 48 to the bottom side. Now they all start to snake back up. This is starting to look like the IndyCar snake we tend to see at the Indianapolis 500. Sheldon Lockie now cleared up to that third car in position. John Barry has to go toe-to-toe. Many cars in the wall. The lap vehicle Matt Hummel goes around. He goes up and over. Zoltan Herzog, a favorite in this race. Heavy damage on the front end there. He spins across the pit lane. He'll hit his rear end off the pit lane wall. There was another vehicle involved as well, but a lap vehicle hitting the wall. There was another vehicle that hit the wall as well. Zoltan Herzog was there. As a result, many cars around with just 7 laps to go.
As we worked across the stripe to complete lap 54, 7 laps remaining, and the caution flag will fly. We will look at the replay right here. Working through turns 3 and 4. Zoltan Herzog, like you mentioned, Emerson, one of the favorites entering this race, rides there on the bottom, and it was that contact from the 93. He slides down the racetrack and up over on his lid, puts the 3 car of Zoltan Herzog in the wall. He cuts it through the grass, and honestly, not as much damage as I thought until he comes right here and makes contact with that inside pit lane.
Yeah, you saw he was trying to just kind of keep that car out of harm's way, and then he saw that pit lane wall getting bigger and bigger. He tried to spin it around to avoid hitting that pit wall, but to no avail for Zoltan Herzog. That's unfortunate. He had to battle with a lap vehicle there. Matt Hummel, 9 laps down in this race. Let's see what Matt Hummel saw, by the way, in this incident. He hits the wall there. There's Herzog, and then a blowover for Matt Hummel. He lands back on his 4 wheels, but unfortunate there. No, he loses his tire again. Unfortunate there. He potentially impacts one of the favorites in this race. And to, not of his own fault, by the way. We're in the pack, and it's so hard to control these cars. You saw a vehicle up ahead of him just hit the wall. But nonetheless, it's still an unfortunate scenario for Zoltan Herzog to be involved in.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, right before that wreck actually happened, we saw De La Rosa get up into the wall just in front of this field and slide back. So as that run was starting to add laps on these tires, as the run went on, you could tell these cars just weren't handling the same.
So, being that this is the NORC Classic and we're kind of using classic NASCAR rules, I don't quite know what the overtime procedure is going to be. If we get into a scenario where we have to use overtime attempts, at this moment, we should come around and take the 1 to green, and overtime should not be a concern at this moment, at this full course caution. But if we get another one before we hit the white flag, that'll then raise some questions. We will, well, apparently we will get answered, whether we get a restart or not. But it'll be intriguing to see what the rules are that we have to encounter if we go extra distance here in the NORC Classic.
Well, we're getting ready to see an interesting turn of events here as they will come down to 5 laps to go this time by. Going to be an interesting 5 laps, I tell you, Emerson. This whole race has had you on the edge of your seat, and I can only imagine the same for these final 5 laps.
Absolutely. Let's take a little bit of a race recap today. How about it? We've had 6 full course cautions today for 15 laps. But at that, 20 lead changes. We've had a new leader for a little over or a little under every 3 laps. That is amazing. 20 lead changes. Doesn't say how many different leaders, but that is a lot of lead changes here at Daytona, and we've seen a lot of them there. And we've seen also a lot of times where the lead has been battled for, but the same leader crosses the line at the start-finish line. When it was Zelensky and oh goodness, who was he battling? He kept beating that person to the start-finish line. So that number could be more. It's just, of course, lead changes are counted at the start-finish line. But a wild race so far. 6 full course cautions, again, 20 lead changes. And we can go ahead and take a look at the weather as well. The track has, well, the conditions have stayed pretty much the same. Getting ready to restart here for the NORC Classic. These 1987 stock cars with 650 horsepower to the rear wheels, 3,700 pounds on these chassis, these bodies, and the driver put together. Get ready to do battle. Final few times around Daytona. It'll be 4 laps the shootout, 10 miles to settle the NORC Classic. That's if overtime isn't even a factor. What I do know is the iRacing.com City Vehicle will make that hard left turn into the safety of pit lane, and Will Klein is going to lead us to the green. 10 miles to settle it. How bad do you want it? These drivers, they get up to speed down the Daytona Super Stretch. What will happen here into turn 3? Seth Noel, Femi Olot, second and third. Dylan Patterson and Sheldon Lockie do battle. Car collects the wall there off the corner. Looks like that was Tom Mercier. They're side by side still for second. Will Klein holding that top spot.
Will Klein continues to lead out front in that top spot. Sammy Noel pulls there in second with Femi Olot in third. Those drivers continue to swap position. These cars now at full song, put up or shut up time. 3 laps to go here for the NORC Classic.
Absolutely, and look at this. Sheldon Lockie is in prime position to do battle as well. Femi Olot, he sends a nose to the inside. It's 3 wide for the race lead as we come around to 2 laps to go at Daytona.
Femi Olot makes it stick. He'll take the lead. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Well, we're dealing with some technical difficulties, and we have a caution on the speedways. Well, we're going to try to get these worked out for you, get you coverage of the rest of this race. The race is not over. There is a caution on the speedway.
Mike's clear.
back here live from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. We are under caution into overtime here for the NORC Classic. The cause of the caution, Elijah Gracia, Freddie De La Rosa got together. Unfortunately, they went spinning off, and then later in the lap, as the track status became yellow, it looks like there was another massive crash in the tri-oval as far as drivers out of this event. As a result, looks like Bobby Chaney, Elijah Gracia, and we'll get here kind of a whole rundown. There's still 20 drivers on the lead lap, so many of the drivers who are on the lead lap with a chance at this race, they're still alive and well in this event. And we're going to try to see how things conclude here for the NORC Classic. Caleb, 5 miles to settle it if we can get it done on this overtime attempt.
Well, if you're going to want to have a shootout, you're going to want to have it at Daytona International Speedway, a 2-lap shootout to the finish, and even better, it's with 1987 model stock cars. We're looking forward to the finish of this one. 2 of the drivers that have been in front all day will lead them down to the start-finish line for the final start here on Pit Stop TV.
Apologies for the prior technical difficulties, but we're ready to get back to racing. The safety vehicle in the pit lane, 2 laps to settle it. Everyone getting up to speed off of turn 2. Drivers nearly up against the outside wall. Will Klein having to put it up there if he wants to hold it. Now down 3 wide down the back straightaway. Sheldon Lockie under the yellow line into turn 3. Everybody darts it off into the corner.
William Klein put it all the way up by the wall. That pushes him out front. Noel rides there in second. There's Lockie in third. Down here to the stripe.
1 lap to go, presented by Tucson Sound Art. Aaron Smith putting himself in the mix. 3 wide for second. Around goes Seth Noel. Looks like everybody will continue on. Femi Olot contacted there to 17. Sheldon Lockie now tails the 48 of Will Klein. John Barry there in third. Aaron Smith a distant fourth. Down the back straightaway for the final time at Daytona.
Klein trying to block the 69 car of Lockie just behind him. Going to continue to do that through turns 3 and 4 for the final time.
Here they come off the corner. They're going to crash behind and to the bottom of the racetrack. Sheldon Lockie's going to try to send it to the grass, but it is Will Klein at the line for the NORC Classic. What a finish as they continue to crash and smash behind. Michael Keithley, Scott List-Ramler, many vehicles have damage here at the end of the race. There's Seth Noel, who was booted out of the way. My goodness, but it is Will Klein, the winner of the NORC Classic there. What a finish. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a replay of that finish. We'll get to see it all unfold here. This is really the pack fourth on back. This is actually where really the crashing happened. We saw Will Klein. Sheldon Lockie tried to get it through the grass, could not get there, but the accidents that ensued were something else. We saw the 89 of Sean Williams kind of get into the wall here off of 4. Falcon was trying to find his way. There went Pencari, and oh no, everybody up into the fence there. Oh, they just kept piling in. TCB trying to make it to the line. Zelensky powers through. Then they reckon after the checkers. There's Sheldon Locke, who came back up onto the track. Scott List-Ramler. My goodness.
Just everybody pushing hard to the finish of this one.
Absolutely.
I mean, and you wouldn't expect any less.
And you know, they don't have to pay for these cars. Go ahead and junk them up. Checkers the wreckers, right?
That's right.
And Will Klein, the deserving winner of the NORC Classic. He was up there a majority of the race, and he was in the right place at the right time, held on all that final restart to get the job done tonight here at Daytona. We're going to step aside for a brief moment. Don't you go anywhere. Post-race interviews, post-race coverage of the NORC Classic, and more on the far side. Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Daytona International Speedway. We're now in the post-race coverage here of the NORC Classic. I want to say once again, Caleb Gladney alongside myself, Emerson Art, and tonight Jay Cook has been holding down the fort on social media this evening. But let's get right into it. We have a race winner to celebrate. Will Klein, you got it at the line. The NORC Classic, it is yours. A final restart where you had to go through Femi Ola. You got it there off of turn 2. What was it like getting up to the gears and getting it to his outside?
Yeah, I was lucky to have somebody working with me behind me, and you know, I made a quick move and I snookered him off at 2 and got a pretty good run. And you know, from there on it was about defending, and you know, it almost came crashing down there in turn 1, but I was lucky to be on the bottom.
Yeah, no kidding. It was 3 wide, so tight and packed down there in the turn 1. Seth Noel, Femi Ola get together. What's going through your mind through all the craziness from restarting second, from passing Femi around the outside, from that, and then having to block the rest of the lap?
Well, about, you know, when Femi was going to the middle, like, oh crap, gonna get wrecked here, and then, you know, it didn't happen, so I'm like, alright, I just gotta block Sheldon as much as I can and I'll win this. You know, and it worked out, so, you know, I'm very happy. This one wasn't a crapshoot this time for a win by me. It was on merit. I was up here the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. 18 laps led, and at Daytona, that's really a hard feat to come across. It looks like you were up here for majority of the time. We also interviewed you earlier, but how was it just running up here with Bobby and Femi and who else for some name stays up here? Zoltan and the like up here throughout the evening. Kind of seeing the comers and goers, or you kind of stayed consistent?
Yeah, there was kind of a similar group of us that were up front, and it's people that I've raced for, like, you know, some people I've raced a decade with, so I definitely know, you know, I feel good around them. I feel like, you know, we're going to race each other clean, so, and that's what happened on the track mostly.
Absolutely. Well, in NORC's last hurrah, the NORC Speed Weeks here at Daytona or NORCtona. You still got 4 more events to kind of go out of here with a bang. What's got your eye the most in the coming weeks?
You know what? I don't really know. This one, I would say, is probably the one where you have most control of your destiny, because this car, it has a little driver input, to the racing, but I'm gonna have to be lucky if I want to win more, in the coming weeks, and it's happened before, so hopefully it'll happen again.
Well, no doubt, Will. Once again, congratulations on the NORC Classic. If you want to shout anyone out, thank anyone, the floor is yours.
I'll thank John for putting on these events to finish up NORC. You guys for broadcasting for the past year or two, and broadcasters before, and the people who've been watching us for a long time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, it's your 2022 NORC Classic winner, Will Klein, with the victory here at the Virtual Legacy Daytona National. Will, go out there, celebrate, have a good one. Hopefully we'll talk to you more throughout these speed weeks.
All right, thank you.
And that was race winner, driver of the number 48, Caleb. Again, a driver who was up there, a mainstay in the top 5, top 10 throughout the evening. He kept himself up there with 18 laps led. You're going to be interviewing someone who kind of started poking their name around there later in the running, John Barry, finishing in the 2nd position. Caleb?
Yeah, John Barry brought it home in the 2nd place position. Worked hard for it all day, survived the trouble late there at the end. Well, John, your 74 machine survived the trouble. Take us through those last lap events, that final restart, the 2 lap to go shootout, and what you saw out of your window and how you were able to bring it home in a 2nd place position.
I think that the last couple, like the caution came out like 6 ago, I got new tires, which I feel like helped quite a bit on just the handling. And also just trying to stick to the bottom. I don't know what it was, but this track, it used to be like you want to be on the top lane, but I did like a race on this particular setup a few weeks ago, and I kind of noticed like the bottom was actually a lot better. So that's why I kind of towards the end of the race I stayed at the bottom because I was trying to follow behind Femi, and I couldn't get any runs going. I just couldn't hang on to it, so I stayed on the bottom. And that last restart there, I got really lucky. Femi just kind of sent it up for the middle, and I took out Seth, and that kind of put me in a good spot to. I was hoping I'd get more of a run down the back straightaway, but like the whole time I was kind of surprised like how like the front 2 were actually starting to pull away from me a little bit, which was really, I thought was kind of odd. And Sean was trying so hard to wreck Will, and I was hoping he would, that way I can get to the line, but they hanged on to it, and I got 2nd. So, but good start for Speed Weeks, so I'm happy about that. So yeah.
Well, obviously the rest of Speed Weeks, it's going to be quite a different car than the one you drove tonight. For the fans listening, take us through what this car is like to drive, what it handles like, what the tire fall off is like. We had some decent long runs today in this 60-lap event, and just take us through the changes this specific 1987 car has.
Well, I think all these newer NASCAR cars at any plate track, it's super easy to do. It's just everyone's bumper locked right on top of each other. It's just everything handles perfect. Even at the older Daytona with the newer cars, it's still fairly easy. These cars are you're just getting rocked around all over the place with the bumps, and it's how bad these things they drive really awful, which what makes them fun. But it's just hell, even like on new tires in the draft, you gotta lift it a little bit because it's how much of a suck up you get up. You just dirty air, and the thing will just break loose sideways on you if you got someone on your rear bumper packing air off your rear spoiler. It's just these things handle like crap. So the newer cars are just easy to drive, and these are you're just hanging on for your life.
Well, John, obviously the owner of NORC, what does it mean to you to kick off these final Speed Weeks with a 2nd place finish?
Pretty happy. As long as these 5 races, I don't care which one is. As long as I get like a win, I'll be really pleased with that. I was really close tonight. I thought I was in a catbird seat there at the final lap where everybody wrecked like, ooh, I'm third. I got new tires. The front two, they're gonna do something stupid and get to run, and they sort of did something stupid, but I hang on to it. And I just never got to run. But one thing I'm proud about the turnout we had tonight. I figured we wouldn't be getting like 15 cars maximum, and we actually almost had 30. So that was really cool to see everyone kind of show up and show up to race. I was pretty happy about that. Final little hurrah for NORC here this last month, and it was nice to see.
Well, no doubt, John Barry, your contributions to NORC and everyone's love the journey and love the ride, and congrats again on your second place finish tonight.
Thank you.
And that was, of course, second place finisher John Barry, but also the man who's ran this show for so long. John, putting together the amazing league back on console in the 13th seasons. Making the transition to racing, it was it's been something. But now moving on, we got, of course, third place finisher Sheldon Locke. You still got to hear from him and his dive through the grass to try to get Will there at the line. Sheldon, how much confidence did you have just sending it down in the grass?
Well, honestly, I didn't mean to. So what happened was I was full throttle out of 4, and I was gonna hit him and just kind of keep in it and see if I could get him loose. And as soon as I touched his bumper, I started turning right, but I just bumper hooked and just got pulled left no matter what I could do. So I got thrown so low I couldn't really keep it down there, and I just had to cut through the grass there at that point.
Fair enough. Sheldon, you kind of stuck around here in the second half of the race. He started 19th, but up in the second half of the race, you started to see this 69 kind of poke his way through the top 10. What was that like, kind of riding in the pack with everybody kind of, at different levels of confidence in their cars?
Yeah, I got a good spot in the pack, honestly. So, like, when I was running, I was able to basically stay, like, in between the 2x2 racing. And for all the wrecks, I was usually ahead of them by the time they happened. And for the ones that I was behind, I tended to be so far back, I was able to just stop it up, so.
Well, fair enough. A third place finish to kick off NORC's last hoorah with the NORC Tona Speed Weeks. You look forward now at 4 more events. Which one catches your eye the most, or which one are you looking forward to the most? The ARCA car, the truck, Xfinity, or the Cup race?
I honestly think it's probably going to be the ARCA car, because I like that car. I like how it drives more than most of the other cars. I mean, this car is pretty fun to drive, though, too. I feel like the Cup car is going to be pretty damn boring, because it's going to be just gridlock the whole time.
Well, certainly, we just hope for the best racing we can get out of all of these vehicles, of course, for the last month of Speed Weeks here for NORC. What does it mean to you to kind of get this podium here in one of these last 5 races?
Oh, it's just good to have fun, honestly. Like, I'm here for just to hang out with the guys, honestly. That's more what I'm here for. The racing's secondary, but it's having fun's the first thing, so.
Well, it seemed like a lot of fun. These 87s. John said they're terrible to drive, and we saw drivers struggling with it all night long. So I now ask you, did you have fun? Are you a little tired? How you feel after 64 laps?
I had fun. It was pretty fun. There's a lot of driving in circles. Nothing too hard. It's not like we're doing right turns, at least too many. So.
Well, some people were doing right turns off the course.
Yeah, there's a half right turns, like half.
Fair enough. Well, Sheldon, congratulations on the podium. Best luck to you through the rest of the NORC Speed Weeks. Hopefully, we'll talk to you some more throughout the month.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, see you guys next race.
Yes, sir. Third place finisher, driver of the number 69, Sheldon Locke, brings it home in third, and that's what it's all about. That's really what this is all about. These NORC Speed Weeks. Just kind of one last time for everybody to kind of gather and to kind of have their own. To kind of have their last goodbyes with NORC as a league. And I couldn't think of a better event to kick off these Speed Weeks than the 87s we saw tonight here at the Legacy Daytona. My goodness, it was a blast tonight. I mean, there was no clear-cut favorite throughout the evening.
It really was. I mean, from the start, even during practice, then jumped into qualifying, then on into the race. An eventful night, to say the least. I mean, the battles up front, there was never a time where you could say, well, there's one guy that was out front and dominated this race. I mean, you just never had that car, and I think it's a testament to these 1987 stock cars, and especially this racetrack, this old school bumpy Daytona International Speedway, and a mixture of both sets for what we saw tonight. Great racing for all 60 laps.
Well, we have some race results to run through here before we finish things up here tonight. Let's go ahead and go through them. And it is Will Klein with the race victory. He comes home in second over John Barry, who was impaled by Sheldon Lockheed's Rogue number 69 across the grass. Sheldon comes home in third. Femi Olot will come home in fourth on that last lap contact with Seth Noel. Aaron Smith will finish up in the fifth position. Scott List Rambler in sixth. Jared Darling in seventh. Tom Mercier comes home eighth. Josh Robin ninth. And Dylan Patterson will round out the top 10.
Sitting there in 11th, the 28 car of Cody Miller, a car we saw up at the front for a good portion of this race. The 89 car of Sean Williams in 12th. 13th, Zoltan Herczeg, another driver we saw at the front of the field in that 3-car or 96. You'd say Daniel Falkingham in 14th was there in second before under yellow. He made contact with a car that was going for the Lucky Dog. 15th, Spencer Owens. 16th, Howie Briss in the 97. 33 car of Freddie De La Rosa in 17th, another driver that had a good day out front. Seth Noel in 18th. 19th, Brett Munkari. And in 20th, Michael Keithley, involved in a couple cautions. He sits there in 20th.
Now we get the Heartbreakers row of the evening. TCB comes home in 21st. Terrell Baker making that contact with Daniel Falkingham under caution. Unfortunate circumstance that went very. Elijah Gracia bringing out that last caution on the race, comes home 22nd, 5 laps down. Bobby Cheney will be 23rd, 6 laps down. Bobby Zielinski 24th, 11 laps down. Matt Hummel will be 25th. 16 laps down. James Simmons 26, 21 laps down. Anthony Emery 27, 36 laps down. Jimmy Gregory come home 28th, only completing 8 laps. 52, should only complete 12 laps because of the 4 extra. 52 laps down for Anthony Emery. And well, as far as the NORC Classic goes, that will do it. But there's still so much more to come on the channel in the coming days. Tonight also, this is kind of wrapping up, I want to say about 5 straight hours on the air. We have a little bit of a break because we had 2 broadcasts today with the British Sim Racers MX5 Trophy Tuesdays. They had their race at the Brands Hatch course across the pond. Tonight it was their second race of, or earlier in the afternoon here in the States, in the evening over there in Europe. They had their second round at Brands Hatch, and that was a great time. So coming up here for Pit Stop TV is Thursday night. We'll have British Sim Racers, or Thursday afternoon here in the States at 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. British Sim Racers touring cars taking to the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit for their second race of the season in the touring cars. Then, well, we're off the weekend. We'll be back with BRP action Monday evening at Lanier Raceplex for their 10th race out of 14 on the season. It'll be a grand old time there for more dirt big block modifieds. It'll be the British Sim Racers MX5 Trophy Tuesdays back in action again next Tuesday afternoon here in the States, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time for Trophy Tuesdays at Oulton Park for their third race of the season. And of course, NORC Tona Speed Weeks continues next Tuesday evening. It'll be 6:50 p.m. Eastern. We'll go on the air for the ARCA 200 at Daytona International Speedway. It'll be the old Gen 4 bodies used back when it was a nationwide series. Should be a grand old time next Tuesday night. Caleb, I'm excited if it's anything like what we saw tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. It was definitely something to be seen. You can follow us on Pit Stop TV on social media, facebook.com pitstoptv. Get us on Twitter at pitstoptv_ or Instagram pit_stop_TV. And on YouTube at pitstoptv1. Follow us on all social media platforms, Pit Stop TV.
Of course, our website, www.pitstoptv.com. Of course, check that out for all things Pit Stop TV. I guess as far as tonight goes, that's really gonna do it. Want to thank Caleb Gladney for joining me alongside the show tonight. These 87s, it was an absolute blast to call tonight. Jake Cook, new to Pit Stop TV, holding down the fort on social media this evening. Go ahead and check out all of his work on our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter. And of course, myself, Emerson Arden, on production commentary tonight. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. And that'll do it from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. For all here at Pit Stop TV, once again, Caleb, Jay, and myself, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time, hopefully Thursday afternoon for British Sim Racers from Brands Hatch, or next Tuesday evening for NORC ARCA Cars at Daytona.